Hey, it's Steph. Thanks for watching today's video. I will be sharing all of the eyeshadow looks that I've created with my palettes. So I had a goal of using each one of my eyeshadow palettes for a complete look, at least once throughout this year so I could get to know every single one of my palettes. Today I will be sharing each look, and with palettes that I've created multiple looks with, I will just be sharing my favorite look, taking inspiration from JJ Beauty. I will leave her channel linked down below. She has great eyeshadow content. Yeah, I'm really excited to share all of my looks. If you're not familiar with my channel and are not subscribed, I do mostly panning content. I'm working toward just using my collection, and I'm on a no-buy this year, so it's really important for me to just touch everything that I have and, just love everything that I have before I go out lusting over palettes that I don't need. So if you're not subscribed, I hope you do so before you leave, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy eyeshadow videos. Like I said, I had a goal to touch every single one of my eyeshadow palettes and use it for a complete look. That means I'm not pulling any shadows from other palettes. I'm just using what is within each palette. I had 55 eyeshadow palettes when I started this year. I have received a couple as gifts. A couple were decluttered to me, and I have decluttered some palettes. So spoiler for my mid-year inventory, but now I am up to 59 eyeshadow palettes. So even though I have decluttered some, I have received more than what I've decluttered. So let's just start. I'm going to go in alphabetical order. I will be popping up the looks on the screen, but I'm also looking down at my computer because it's just easier for me to keep track of what I'm talking about. So the first look is from my Ace Beauté Violet Sage palette. This was my level 2 in Project Level Up, and I absolutely adore this look that I created. This is one of the last looks that I created with this palette to hit my goals, and hopefully this is helpful to you to see what shades I've used. In some pictures I just have them circled, but in this specific picture I actually labeled where each shadow went. I just absolutely love the purple in this palette. I think purple looks pretty good on my cool skin. So yeah, nothing else to say. This is just possibly one of my favorite looks of the whole year. I actually haven't went through and decided that myself, but yeah. If you remember to comment down below what look is your favorite. I know it will be hard. The next palette is the Alter Ego Coastal palette. This is another one of my favorites. Wow, it's just that sparkle. I think that is Ripple, which is the blue shimmer in that second row, and then I of course have another shimmer on top of it. Cool toned shimmers, y'all. That's my jam. You will see it often on my channel. The next is my Alter Ego Midsummer, and right away you can tell that this is not a look that is common for me. It is a very warm tone, but is very summery, which is fitting for midsummer. And it's funny, this is my favorite look that I've created with this. I actually think this looked really nice. I did pair it with a gray eyeliner that is not in this palette. I was not super impressed with this specific palette from Alter Ego. I actually decluttered it, so this is not in my collection anymore. But I wanted to share the look just in case you have this palette and want to take some inspiration. Next is my Alter Ego Sakura palette. And I was so surprised how much I liked this look as well. It leans very red. I actually had that cherry shade in a project for, I think it was red theme. And I just love how I paired it with the greens in this palette. It is hard to see in this photo because the greens are on my lower lash line, but it is what it is. Hopefully you can see the combo, and I just really enjoyed how this looked. I don't know. Next is Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry, and this palette is so old. It is my oldest palette in my collection. I'm pretty sure I got it around 2018, maybe 2017. I don't remember when this palette came out, but it's still going strong. Look how beautiful those shimmers are. I kind of did a gradient of, you know, the silvers and the bronzes. Yeah, this palette is just, it's still one of my favorites. It's such a beautiful cool tone neutral palette, and I was in love with this look, and I was actually in shock because of how amazing the shimmers looked still. Yeah, I love it. Next is my Aether Beauty Rose Quartz palette. This was also in my Level Up project, and this is a really great everyday palette. I chose this look because of how shimmery it is. You can probably tell I used the cool tones, and yeah, not much to say. I went back and forth on this palette whether or not I wanted to declutter it or not. It has 3 pans in it now. I know you can't see that from the photo, but I decided to keep it honestly just for the cool tone shades. I do not particularly like the warm shades, but I think it can create really pretty everyday looks. Next is from my Beauty Bay Metamorphic palette. Y'all, this palette is such a stunning cool tone. Oh my goodness, I loved this look so much. I currently have a shade from here in my Panlos eyeshadows, so it's been really nice having it out. It's just, oh, I love it. This is such my jam. And of course, I had to create a purple look. This is the only look that I've created with this palette as a whole, and I just love it. Possibly a contender for a top look as well, like as a whole. Next is my Bella Beauté Bar Smoky Glam, and this is currently my level 3 in Project Level Up, and it was so hard choosing my favorite, so I think I narrowed it down to this one. This is my favorite, I guess. And this look was actually suggested by one of my followers on Instagram. I will have my Instagram down below if you're not following me over there, but I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Heloia. I will leave it on the screen, and I will link her down below as well. She suggested these 4 shades, and I created this look, and it is stunning. That shimmer is all over my lid and in my inner corner. It is called Imagine, and it is such a shifty shade. I have it on my nails now, but I don't really want to show you my nails because they're so bad, but it's hard to see the shift. Never mind. Stunning. This is such a dramatic look, and yeah, I just love the pinks. You know, this palette is so versatile, but I just gotta go with the pinks. Next is my Blend Bunny Sugar and Grunge, and I've created 2 looks with this palette so far this year, and this is by far my favorite. I actually created this in a palette bingo that is up on my channel now. I created that celebrating my 500 subscribers. Thank you guys again. I think I'm at like 550 now, which is so exciting. But yeah, I was so shocked with this color combo, but I think it may have been the best option with this palette. The pinks and the teals, ooh, it gives me grungy cotton candy vibes, and it was just so good. Next is from my Catrice Friends Lift Each Other Up palette. What a long name. This is the Winnie the Pooh collab, and it has like Eeyore and Piglet on the front. I had this in a project recently, and I created this look with it, and this is the only look that I've created with this palette, but it is so pretty. I remember when I was creating this look, I had some trouble with the dark purple, but just looking back at this look, it is just so beautiful and definitely my jam, and I could wear this look over and over. It's a good everyday look, even though it leans on the darker side. I just really like how I looked that day. I remember. Next is my ColourPop Bambi collection. I have 2 palettes from that, and I received those as gifts this year for my birthday. And I'm actually wearing the look now. This is created with the flower palette, and I will have like what shades I use and the picture of it on the screen. This turned out a lot more like blown out than I anticipated. I was having trouble blending the mattes. I don't know if you can see how patchy it got over here, so it kind of like went a little crazy. Hopefully it doesn't look super crazy, but it's a little much for me. I just wish I had kept the color a little lower, but this is the only look that I've created with that palette, and I liked it. I tried to use as many shades as possible. I could easily get a more everyday look out of this palette, which I will definitely do next time I use it, but you know, it's pretty. And then the other palette I have from the Bambi collection is the Thumper palette, and I created this look yesterday. I posted it on my Instagram, so you may have seen it already like recently, and I love this look. Oh my goodness, it really surprised me how much I liked the green. But yeah, this is like a beautiful ethereal look. Other than the black eyeliner, maybe throws it off a little bit, but I really like how it defines my eye. And you know, a wing, you gotta love a wing, right? I wish the pink showed up a little better. I have it on the inner part of my lid and my inner corner, but I think maybe it was the angle of the picture that you can't really see it, but yeah, I really enjoyed this palette. I have quite a few ColourPop palettes, so let's stick with ColourPop, and this look I created with my Lavish palette. This was the second look that I created with this when it was in my Throwback 30 project, and I just love the little flower. But honestly, when I was looking at all the looks that I created, even without the flower, like if I would have not done the flower, this is still my favorite look. This is the only look that I added a lot of depth within the look with that darker purple, and I just love this color on my skin, and I remember feeling really beautiful that day with the flower and just like springy. Yeah, I think the shimmers really shine in this look as well. Next is my ColourPop Lilac You a Lot palette. And this was also in a project. It was in my Pan Those eyeshadows. I had the lower right shade called Filtered in there, and that is what I have as the liner in this look. And I think it just looks really good. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm just repeating myself, but obviously I think it looks good. It's my favorite look. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I feel like I utilized a lot of the shades really well. That bottom middle shade called Iffy, it's like the coolest purple. Honestly, I do not know where I used that. It must have been in the crease. I can't see it very well in this photo, which means it kind of disappeared, but I'm sure it's in the crease. and that is what is creating that depth. Next is my ColourPop Mint to Be palette. This was my level 1 in the beginning of this year, and mint is such a good color. It's, yeah, I felt like this palette created very similar looks. I created 2 looks with this, and both of them, you know, I used different shades, but they kind of looked similar. So that's a little unfortunate, but probably user error and not being creative. Yeah, mint. That's all I can say. Mint. It's beautiful. This was the look that I created on my birthday this year. My birthday is in March 28th, and I used the ColourPop That's Taupe palette, one of my favorite neutral palettes in my collection. As you can see, it has 5 pans in it, so it is very well loved. But this is the only look that I have created with this palette this year, and I chose to do a very beautiful glam look for my birthday, and I just love how it turned out. I really love how defined the shape of it is in the outer corner. I don't usually do that. I usually, you know, blend and do more of a round shape. So I love that I chose to do that and more elevate a neutral look to make it a little more special. But I thought that was just so gorgeous, and I felt so good on my birthday. Next is the ColourPop The Mandalorian palette, and I had this in my Project Throwback 30. This, I felt like I got a lot of different looks with this. So it was hard to choose, but I decided to go with this one because, first of all, it doesn't have the yellow in it. I did play with the yellow a couple times, but I just do not like that shade on me. But I think I still utilized the warm tones in this palette really well with that peachy transition shade. Honestly, this is a very simple look. I could have used the gray eyeshadow as liner, but I chose to do an actual like pencil liner, and I think that was a missed opportunity, but I still really love how this look turned out. Next is the ColourPop The Mandalorian The Child palette. This is a green and gold palette, and I absolutely loved this look that I created with the greens and golds, and I just love that I was able to combine them. That gold on the right side of the palette, called The Force, it's kind of a shifty like green gold. That is what you see kind of in the center of my lid, and I just thought that turned out so beautiful. I was surprised how much I like these tones on my eyes. I do not do gold very much. Yeah, I loved it. Next is my ColourPop Twist of Slate palette. I am so sorry I don't have a better photo of this, but I was having a really rough day that day. I remember it 100%, and I just did not have a chance to take a better photo of it. But I hope you can see, it's just a neutral palette. Like, it's not, you know, it doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles, but it is a great everyday palette. It does have a cream shade in there. The top left shade is cream. So of course I had that all over my lid, and then I just used a couple shimmers. It was a good everyday look, very simple. You could easily go smoky with this, but this is the only look that I created with this palette. Next is my ColourPop Wild Nothings palette, and this is a beautiful, really light palette. It's really great if you have fair skin. It does lean a little warm, so I almost decluttered it because of that, but I have it still. And this is the only look that I've created with it this year. I love the liner, and I actually really love the corally pinks. You know, it's a really great everyday look. And I love the shimmers. I actually have 2 pans in this. It's hard to see, but I do have a pan in the color I was going to say ColourPop. In the Super Shock shade, the very last shade in the second row, there is a pan in there. Maybe I hit pan after this photo. But yeah, great everyday look with a little drama with that wing. Next is my Cosmic Beauty Winter Wonderland palette, and I created this look in a palette bingo. So I got some shades that I would not have combined normally, but I love how this turned out. Very out of my comfort zone, but I just think it's beautiful with the mix of the blues and the teal. This is the only look that I've created with this palette, but it's beautiful. And yeah, I definitely want to play with the purples in this palette for sure. Next is my e.l.f. Bite Size Cream and Sugar palette. This is just a great everyday quad. Please disregard the asterisks in the photo. Apparently this is the only picture that I had of the palette, but I am wearing all 4 shades in this picture. I think that liner is that brown, but it looks very gray in this photo. Possibly the gray eyeliner that I have, but I definitely darkened my crease with that dark brown. Very, very sheer. I am able to use it in my crease because this palette is getting old. You know, the formula is not as great as it once was. Baby boy is waking up. But yeah, great everyday palette. Next is my Clarity Safari palette. This palette is so out of my comfort zone. I have created 2 looks with it, but of course my favorite is utilizing the cool tones. And this is such a simple look, but because Clarity has such beautiful shimmer shade, it was like bam. Ooh, did you hear him? Bam in your face. Yeah, the other look I created was oranges and reds, and definitely not my favorite. Next is my Lorac Pro Noir palette. This is the second look I created. It's very dramatic, like foxy, smoky eye, and I love it. I created this very early on in the year. I almost forgot about it, but it's very dramatic. Love the wing. Love the smokiness. Love the shimmers. Yeah, it's just great. Good stuff. Next is my Marc Jacobs Terrific palette. That name bugs me so much. I don't know why. This is the look I created on Valentine's Day. I remember it very clearly, and I just love the pink wing. I think this look turned out very nice. This palette leans a little warm, but I think this look, yeah, I just really like the wing. Wings for days. The next 3 looks are from my Millefie, like painting themed palette. So this first one is my Monet Water Lilies, and this is a great everyday palette. I did use my gray eyeliner with this look to add a little something because these palettes are very subtle, I would say. You don't get, you know, a ton of variety in the shades or the looks. Very, very everyday. So again, this is the Van Gogh Roses palette, and yeah, very simple everyday. I did use all of the shades in this look. Can you tell? No, you cannot. Same with this one. This is the Monet Woman with the Parasol. I used every single shade in this look, and you can't tell. Beautiful everyday look though. Next is my Nomad Ghost Town USA palette. I created, I think, 4 or 5 looks with this palette so far, and the blue look is definitely my favorite. I just love that shimmer in the center of my lid, and the blues in the crease. Oh my goodness, it just gave me a lot of, impact, and I felt like all the other shades in this palette are more subtle. So this is just like gorgeous. Next is my Pat McGrath Labs Passion Fleur. I think Passion Fleur palette. I'll have it on the screen if that's not correct. And I used every single shade in this look. I think I added some gray liner on my lash line, but this is a very bronzy, warm palette. I actually decluttered this, and this is the only look that I created with it. I think it's really pretty. It's just, I don't need it, you know. I don't need it. It's a nice warm tone look, but I do not do warm tone looks. This is gorgeous. This is from my Profusion Harvest palette. I love this look so much. I created that wing with that lower dark green with pan in it on that very last row. Wow, I was shocked how much I loved this green look, and especially because I was using that Grassland shade, which is a very warm green, but I cooled it down with some of the other shades that are a little cooler in my crease. Oh my goodness, definitely one of my top looks this year. Next is my Profusion Mauves palette, and this is just a gorgeous everyday palette. I love it. I had one of these shades in my Pan Those eyeshadows, and yeah, just great look. I also paired my gray liner on the lash line. Next is my Profusion Taro palette. This is just an adorable palette. Unfortunately, I feel like the shades don't have as much impact as I would like, but I think this is a really cute little purple everyday look. The wing did not turn out as well as I wanted it to. I don't know what's going on. It should have been way more defined, but yeah, again, very simple, cute look. This look is so simple from my Revolution Animal Magic palette, but I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it was that lighter shade in my inner corner that really just turned a corner for me with this palette. I created a look before this, and I was not impressed. I did not like it at all, but this look, chef's kiss. How cringy. I just love it. I don't know what to say. I felt so springy and angelic, ethereal, whatever you want to call it, in this look with the inner corner. Good stuff. Okay, I only have like 7 more looks to talk about. Next is from my Sigma Enchanted Mini palette. This is just a beautiful everyday palette. This is the only look that I've created with it, but it was super nice. It's a little warm for me. I think next time I will not use that Terra shade, but I have that in a project, so I need to use it. Yeah, love the eyeshadow wing. Can you tell I like wings? I just love defining my lash line and elongating my eye. Beautiful look. I'm finding a loss for words. I feel like I'm repeating myself with every single look. I hope you're still enjoying this video. Okay, next is my Sigma Hazy palette, and I did have to add a shimmer on top of this look because it was not giving me the impact that I wanted. As you can see, I used a ton of shades in this look, and that is because I just kept layering the shimmers, and nothing was helping me. So I am a little wary of this palette. I have a lot of use in it, so, well, I have a lot of use in 2 shades, so I didn't want to declutter it, but I probably would have if it, you know, if I hadn't had a ton of use and I had only created this one look, I probably would have decluttered it, but I'll keep it because I have a pan. spoiler for my Panthers eyeshadows. Yeah, it's pretty. It'll probably make another beautiful, everyday, simple look. But I was a little disappointed that I had to add a shimmer from my Coastal palette into this look. Next is my Sigma Ivy palette, and my favorite look is actually not green, which is so funny and ironic because Ivy, you know, green. This is just another everyday look. I don't know why this was my favorite. I guess I just didn't. Oh, I know why. I created the majority of my looks with this last year. I think this is my only look that I created after like January, because I had this in my Throwback 30 project pan for 5 looks. So I know I created some beautiful green looks with this palette, but this is the only one that I created this year. That's what it was. Okay, only 4 more to go. I gotta go get my kid because he is awake. This is the Unearthly Dreamer palette. Wow, what a stunner. I love this dramatic look that I created. Oh my goodness. Definitely not an everyday look, but those shimmers. I mean, I don't think I have anything else to say. It speaks for itself. Stunning. Moving on to the most basic everyday look you have ever seen. This is my Urban Decay Basics 2 palette. I never know how to say like what in order. Is it the Urban Decay Naked 2 Basics? I think that's it. This is an all matte look, as you can see. I threw all of these shades on, but I had to do an inner corner, so I had to throw in the shimmer in my inner corner. Beautiful. I could also wear this every day if I had to. I'm working on this palette in my Throwback 30. I'm trying to meet my 30 use goal before the finale next month. So if you follow me on Instagram, you're going to be seeing a few more looks with this palette very soon. Then the last brand, so I have 2 palettes from this brand. It's Viseart. So this is from the Fleurette Amour. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. Fleurette Amour. I'm not French. I'm so sorry. And this is a gorgeous, gorgeous pink, peachy look. Great for summer. That lid shade is so shifty in person. It really gave me more punch than I thought. I really love this look. And of course, I added a gray wing. The very last look in this video is my Viseart Petite Fours Lilas palette. And of course, I threw all of the shades on and it created this gorgeous everyday look. I just love the gradient from the inner lid to the outer lid. I think this is the second look that I created, but I'm pretty sure I created both looks the same. And yeah, I could just repeat this look over and over and over. So I just wanted to let you know that I have created 40 looks with my palettes exclusively. So I have used 40 out of my 59 palettes, and it is only the middle of the year. I think that is amazing, especially because when I set this goal in the beginning of the year, I was not wearing makeup very often. I was very early postpartum. I was, well, not very early. I was like 4 months postpartum. I was only wearing makeup like once a week. And yeah, obviously I wear makeup a little more often now because I have more time. But I'm just so happy. I will definitely hit my goal by the end of the year. I will be able to use more of my eyeshadows because I only have 19 palettes left. I'm so sorry if you can hear him. I only have 19 palettes left to use, like as a whole. Of course, I have shadows in my Pan Those Eyeshadows project. I have focused shadows in other projects, which hinder me from using my palettes as a whole. more often because I'm trying to combine shades from different palettes, but I think I'm doing really well and I'm super proud of myself. Let me know what palette that I showed is your favorite and what look is your favorite. Do you see a theme in my looks? Like even if they are different color stories and palettes, do I lean more towards something that I have not seen myself? You know, a different perspective always helps. But yeah, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and if you're not subscribed, I hope you do so before you leave. I'm just very pleased with myself, okay? I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.